the process that I took them, they ended up raising $6 million in funds specifically for their fundraising campaign. But because it was my first time having a class or a course like that, which was in person as well, I charged $6,000 up front. They paid me. I had no idea that they're going to be able to fundraise $6 million, which was really incredible.
Within 8 months.
Yeah, within 8 months. But like Arturo said, I didn't have the deal properly structured so that way if they did reach a certain amount, that I would receive a cut from that afterwards.
Right. So this is
Um,
so you guys know, okay. Flor, she's been working, she was working for the city on raising money. Okay. Then she moved to doing her own thing. Okay. Now she teaches people how to raise money for their own nonprofit. Okay. So one of her first clients was this company, okay, where she went in, she taught them, okay. And I always told her, hey, if you help somebody get $1 million, how much do you think you're worth? So obviously, it takes a little bit for people to catch on. Me, I'll fucking charge $1 million. If I can help you raise $1 million every year for the rest of your life, I'm gonna charge $1 million. And I'm gonna charge that up front. And yeah, I'm gonna guarantee it. Like, hey, if this doesn't happen, if you cannot raise $1 million or more, then I'm gonna give you your money back. Okay, because I'm very confident in what I can do and what can I do. Something's fail, something's move forward. Anyway, so she went in, she lowball herself. She charged this company 6 grand. Okay, and that company um ended up raising about $6 million. Okay, the proper structure for that would have been, hey, I'll charge 10 grand, and then after 250K, I'm gonna charge 9.9% or 10%. Okay, or hey, I charge 25,000, depending on the size of the company. That's where her own due diligence gonna come in. Okay, I'm gonna charge 25K. I guarantee you're gonna make at least $500,000. You're gonna raise at least $500,000. Anything after $500,000, I will charge 10% for the next 2 years. Something along them lines. Okay, something where it makes sense for both people. Why? Because this nonprofit is looking for money, and she has been doing that for many years, so she already knows. She knows which website to go. She knows how to fill it out. She knows what the people are looking for. Okay, even though a lot of people think they can do it, a lot of people don't know how to do it. That's why there's people like Flor helping other people doing it. Okay, it's the same thing. It's the same thing with funding. Like, I don't go to national banks. We go to way smaller banks that don't ask for a lot of papers. And then whenever you do the application, you don't say, "Oh, I haven't made any money," because you're not gonna get any money. You say, "Hey, you look up projections." So we say, because it literally asks you, "Hey, what do you think you're gonna make this year?" So depending on the bank, it's between 200 to 150K, and then they give you 10% off of that. Okay, so if you say, "Hey, I'm gonna make 250,000," they're gonna give you a credit card of 25K. That's 10%. Okay, they usually give you 10% of your projections or 10% of what you made in the past. Okay, so little things like that make a difference. Okay, many people say, "Oh, I'm gonna make $1 million." They're gonna fucking deny you. They're gonna ask you for a plan. They're gonna ask you for a lot of things. Okay, so anyway, so Flor went. She redid her deal, her contract. So Flor, you want to go ahead and tell people how you have structured now?
Absolutely. So from that lesson being learned, we now
That's a
charge.
that's literally a 10% of 6 mil. That's 600K. That's a $500,000 lesson.
Mhm.
And I think I remember we were talking already. We were talking already, and I told you, hey, do it this way. If you are confident you can get people money, you can always guarantee it, because why? You can always give the money back. If the deal doesn't go through, you just give it back to them. You know what I'm saying? Or if you already know how to make money, hey, you just give it back to them. But you got to be confident enough to say, hey, I can help you raise $1 million, but this is my fee. I'm going to charge 50K. I help you raise $1 million. Everything after $1 million, I'm going to take a percentage. A small percentage. Obviously, they're nonprofits, so they use the money for whatever resources. But most of these nonprofits, okay, ChatGPT was a nonprofit. You know what the guy did, right? He turned it into a for-profit. He paid himself $2 billion. Okay, so there's a lot of things you can do. Okay, just because it says nonprofit does not mean that you're gonna stay with the nonprofit. Oh, it's non-profit and I got to open a new. No, it doesn't mean that way. You can go ahead and turn it for profit. You can raise $1 billion and then the next year you say, hey, I'm going to turn it for profit and I'm going to pay myself half a billion dollars. Who's going to say anything? Nobody's going to say anything. Why? Because you're doing it the legal way. Is outside of ethics? Yes, of course, it's unethical because you're raising money for a cause. You're raising money for a cause, and then the next year you pay yourself half of that. So is it unethical? 100%, but people do it all the time. Okay, I don't want to say the guy from ChatGPT. I mean, he should be getting paid. Okay, but that's what he did recently. 2 months ago, he put because ChatGPT was pretty much a nonprofit. He did a open white paper. A lot of people flew in, kind of like Google. Okay, but Google, obviously they have services where they charge, for the drive and for the iCloud drive or whatever. This guy, very, very smart guy. I even saw him speak. I saw him speak in front of Congress. Okay, when they asked him, "Are you a nonprofit or he said nonprofit? Why is ChatGPT a nonprofit?" He said, "I just like to help people." Okay, so he dedicated 4 years of his life to just help people. He turned the shit for profit real quick. You know what I'm saying? He paid himself $2 billion or $8 billion. I can't remember. A number like that. That I think he should have gotten paid 1,000%. So what I'm trying to say, Flores, nothing is always set on stone. Nothing. Okay. You can always find a legal route to do something different. Okay. That's whenever you do your contracts, you have to know who the other person is because there are attorneys out there, and it has happened to me before. There are attorneys out there that will take your case for pro bono. Okay. So for example, let's say, this company, $10 million company, they're making tens of millions of dollars. You charge them 10 grand. And you said, hey, after 500K, it's going to be 10%. And they don't pay you. Guess what? You get a pro bono attorney because you don't have a lot of money. So you go get a pro bono attorney. They'll get 25% of whatever they can recover. I've been sued by a pro bono attorney before for kicking somebody out of my house the wrong way. Okay. I fought it. The pro bono attorney was not happy because I was fucking reading the law. And then I made him look dumb in front of the judge. Okay, when he was just reading, he would read a sentence and he would just cut it before the full sentence that he was supposed to read. So he made it sound like it was for his benefit. But then when I would say, "Hey, judge, can I read you the sentence that he forgot to read?" I will make him look dumb. Okay, so because I'm not the type of guy I don't like to be stepped on. Okay, and obviously obviously we're all Hispanic here. We have gone through things that we just fight against. Okay, so that's a tough lesson. I remember you came to me like, hey, I have this deal going on, and I said, okay. I cannot remember how much what I told you to charge him. I think I said, hey, charge them 10 grand or 25K. I cannot remember because it was a long time ago. Like it was what, 8 months ago, a year ago, and you went ahead and you charged them 6 grand. And everything comes down to confidence. Okay, everything you do comes down to confidence. It doesn't matter if it's guys. It doesn't matter what you're selling. Okay, I know a guy that ripped me off for a little over 100,000, and he is getting followed. I don't want to say his name because this is being recorded, but he is getting looked at by the government. Okay, he just raised $20 million. Okay, why? The guy can talk. The guy has a lot of confidence. Okay, his product is shit, but the guy has a lot of confidence. So you guys can raise money. Okay, you guys can raise money, and if you know your product, I mean, Flory, I don't know how many years you were working before with a company, pretty much doing what you're selling now. Okay, so there shouldn't be a reason why you have low self-confidence when it comes to selling your product. The only thing I can think of is that you don't push yourself every day. Okay, and that will build confidence. Like I told you the other day, hey, if you go ahead and do, you can only do 20 push-ups, but you go ahead and you do 22, 23, 24, since you accomplish something beyond what you're used to doing, beyond your comfort zone, you're gonna come out more confident. Okay, that's the only thing I can think of. Okay, that's the only thing I can think of. Obviously, now you have structured the deals better. Now you charge what, 25K plus a percentage on the back end.
Yeah.
Correct. Okay, so and that was a brand new business, and you're selling money, so you should be making at least 20 grand a month. Because you're selling money.
I
Okay,
appreciate that.
you should have everybody who you help raise money. Hey, it's $10,000, and then a fee on the back end because we're gonna put it up on your business, on your nonprofit. Hey, I'll go in there, I'll train your people, I'll train them for 10 grand, and for the next 3 years, I'm gonna get a small percentage on the back end. You know what I'm saying? That's how you should structure so you can have some recurring, even if it's 5%, just so you can have some recurring revenue. Okay, because you are literally teaching these people, just because, and this is something that I think that this is where the issue is. Just because they didn't spend 4 years busting their ass in a degree, okay, they probably spent 4 weeks with you, okay, does not mean that you're worth less. Okay, does not mean that your product is less. It's not. Guys, look at me. I spent hundreds of thousands of dollars. Okay, I still go and pay for mentorships. I see this guy, oh my God, I want to learn this. Boom. I buy and I pay and I push myself. Okay, I also went to college. Okay, I can tell you a video of 5 minutes on how to raise money was worth more than my whole 4 years in college. Okay, literally. Why? Because how to raise money made me a lot of money. College hasn't made me, it makes me look good. Oh, Arturo went to USF. Wow, graduated with double honors. Wow, nobody cares. You know who cares? My mom, my dad, they feel proud, but that used to work in the past. You know what I'm saying? That used to work in the past. We're living a new generation. That's the whole reason why, hey, everybody's moving online. Okay. In 2022, when they asked the new generation, it was not the Gen Z generation, it was the new one. What do they want to be when they grow up? Everybody wants to be a YouTuber. Okay, now it went from 40% to 40, I think it was like 43% or 44% of the whole generation. They all want to be YouTubers. Okay, nobody wants to go to school anymore. Everybody wants to. So we're talking about half of the population. So the population instead has like 380 million people. Just think about it. Half of 300 mil, we're looking at 160 million people, 150 million people. Okay, 150 million people, they all want to be online. They're all already going online. Okay, there's guys that are they call them clippers. Okay, what do these clippers do? So there's people, influencers online, they're paying kids, okay, $20, $40, $50, depending on how many views their video gets. Okay, so for example, and this is what they're doing. For example, I'm an influencer, okay, and Carlo is a 6-year-old from Brazil. Okay, Carlo's gonna grab my videos. I'm gonna teach him, hey, Carlo, do a 40 to 45-second video or a minute video, open a new Instagram, and whatever video, okay, that passes 10,000 views, I'm gonna give you $20. You know what Carlo's gonna do? Carlo's gonna be trying to get clips here and there of myself. So it makes me more popular, and it's gonna bring an opportunity to that kid in Brazil, okay, or that kid in Cuba. Think about it, guys. People in Cuba a month, they're getting paid $20, $30 a month. So now imagine somebody just by getting me my video, okay, I'm posting it, they're making $20 a day. Why? Because 10,000 views should make me at least $1,000 if they come into my product. You know what I'm saying? And on top of that, now there's influencers, they're giving them a link where, hey, if they buy from that link, now they're gonna start getting revenue. So there's 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds making 20, 30, $50,000 a month. Okay, it's a new generation. So this is something that I want you guys to look at. Yes, And don't get me wrong, I'm in the trucking industry. That thing for me is passive. I'm getting money, putting it in there. That's cool. But what's gonna make the most money if you're online. Okay, that's it. Right now, a lot of people, a lot of young generation, they want the easy, fast money. Okay, they don't really have the skills that can bring, like us. We worked on flipping houses or doing wholesale deals or an actual job. Okay, they don't really know what that is like. So we got to understand they don't know what that is like. Okay, that's cool. We have to serve them because at the end of the day, everybody's gonna die. You know what I'm saying? So the more older we get, there's a new generation coming in with different things. There's people that are not gonna know, they're not gonna be able to live without AI. Okay, guys, I do all my documents, I do it with AI. I'm like, hey, write me a document about this, X, Y, and Z. Boom. Hey, make it more professional. Boom. Hey, make it more persuasive. It does it in fucking 10 minutes. I have a professional, persuasive letter that I'm sending to an attorney or a bank. Okay. It's it's all a matter, literally, it's all a matter of perception. There's this book. Unfortunately, they don't have an audible, but I'm gonna tell you guys which book it is. It's called The Art of Persuasion, okay, by Bob Berg. I'm looking to get that book in Amazon. Okay, The Art of Persuasion. Why should people buy from you? Okay, I was listening to a guy that read that book and he was giving his thoughts on the book, and he said people buy from you if they see you as a person of status or something that's worth following. Okay, so who's gonna buy from you? Okay, so put it this way: when you first start your business, your family, they're like, oh, because since they saw you grow up, they don't believe in you. Oh yeah, that's your floor. She's just doing her thing. Yep. Oh, that's her. Okay. Who's gonna buy from you? Who's gonna buy from you? People who believe in you. And why would they believe in you if you put yourself on a high stat? Why do you think people in Miami buy Lambos and Rolls Royces and they live in penthouses? Why? Because people outside of Miami, they seem like, oh wow, this guy, he seems legit. He has a penthouse, has a Bentley, and he's living on this in Miami. Okay, why? Miami is a little bit expensive, so people are like, oh man, he's of high status. Okay, the reality is 90% of Miami, the cars are rented, and there's 5 people living in an apartment. Okay, that's the reality. I have talked to people that go in and go put in the cable at a penthouse, and they're like, yeah, man, like I came to this building before, and there's 6 people living in this apartment, 6 OnlyFans models or whatever it is. Okay, so that book, from what the guy was explaining earlier, that book pretty much tells you how to put yourself, how to portray yourself as status. So if you can really help people, you just need clients. That's literally, if you can help people, you literally can. So there's 2 ways of persuasion. Way number one is the way you look, and way number two is your knowledge. Okay, so there's a lot. And if you notice me, I record these calls and I'm getting clips and I'm putting it on Instagram. Okay, so I tell my VA, hey, grab some clips, do some clips, and put it on Instagram, throw it everywhere. Why? Because even though it's valuable knowledge, people can say, oh, hey, this guy knows what he's talking about on this subject. This guy knows what he's talking about on this. You know what I'm saying? So many people, they can implement your solutions, and everybody here has a solution. Carlo, Miguel, you, they will listen to your solution. Okay, even if you teach them how to do it, people still are gonna wanna pay in order to hear it from you, more direct from you. Okay, Alex Hermosi talks about that. So literally, and yesterday I was talking to somebody here. They made a guy famous, a guy that you guys know about. He's a reggaeton artist, okay? And she said, it's a female, and she said, I helped him get famous. I'm like, how? She said, well, I did his videography, I had contacts. He was good at writing, but we perfected. He was the face, and he was just singing, and this guy became very, very popular. He's actually worldwide known. So it's all about the perception. She's a little bit popular here in Colombia. Okay, so she does commercials and she promotes product for different companies, but she's not like her ex. Okay, she's not. She helped this guy get very famous. The guy blew up. Good for him. But it's the portrayal that she did for the guy. You know what I'm saying? She's a very, very pretty female. She brought her friends over, so he looked like he was the man, with all very hot females. And every time they go out, it was him and all of her friends. And they didn't really know that he didn't have any money before his song, okay, before his song blew up. Okay. And it's all about your perception and how people perceive you. It's very powerful. Okay. You guys know Albert Preciado, right? Albert Preciado on his podcast, okay? And believe me, I know Albert for a very long time. Okay, when Albert was struggling for a very long, he was struggling. Okay, he did make $5-6 million, but then he will go negative $8 million. The next year he will make $10 million. He will go negative $12 million. Okay, that is literally the life of an entrepreneur. Okay, yeah, you're making 5 mil, but you're under 6 mil. Okay, so you still have some money because you can still pay your debt. Okay, but hey, you make 5, you're in debt 6. You make 10, you're in debt 11. You make 30. Okay, I think last year he made 33. Okay, I don't know how much he's in debt, but I know he was playing that game. Why? He listened to his mentors. Okay, his mentors say, hey, you need attention. You're a Mexican guy. You need attention. Okay, boom, but a Ferrari. Hey, Ferrari, and his train of thought was, hey, the Ferrari got people to come work for me. Let me buy 2 Ferraris. So now he has 2 Ferraris. Hey, then let me buy a Rolls Royce. Okay, and so he just keep getting deeper and deeper and deeper. Hey, I gotta move office, but I'm getting a lot of people, but the office that I'm gonna rent out is $100,000 a month. He actually pays for the office $100,000 a month. Okay, in Beverly Hills. So, 100K a month. Now he has 3 cars, and then the market tanked. So he was looking, hey, how can I make money? Well, I'm gonna become an influencer, because there's many people out there that don't have actual businesses like you guys, like Miguel, like Carlo. There's people that are just influencers. They're very popular. See it as is. They're entertainers. Okay, they're entertainers. They have no business plan, but why are they making a lot of money? Because a lot of people know them. So they come out with a product, boom. What
I
happened to
see.
you know what I'm saying? What happened to the Hack Tour girl? Okay, she's locked up. They're giving her 20 years. Okay, was it her fault? It was not her fault. A company came, they said, hey, we're gonna build a coin and you're gonna promote that coin and you're gonna be under the coin. The rights are you. What did the company do? The company came in, they built a coin for her. She promoted because she had a lot of following. She promoted, a lot of people bought, and the company rug pulled. So that is considered fraud. Okay, so now she's facing 20 years, and the company is not responsible at all. You know what I'm saying? So I'm telling you guys all of this, okay, because literally what I do in the morning, self development, and then I try to learn, hey, what's going on? Hey, okay, the guy from ChatGPT, boom, he paid himself $2 billion. Hey, the Hatua girl, she got famous for a 1 minute clip, okay, which became a 15-second clip. She became very, very popular, made a lot of money, was making about $250,000 a month. Okay, she came up with the coin. The company came up with the coin. She made millions of dollars, and it happened fast. Okay, she made millions of dollars, but now she's facing charges. Okay, these people that are influencers are not business owners. Guys, it's tough to run a business. People don't make it. Okay, I think the stats are within 5 years, half of them are gone, and then within 10 years, 90% of them are gone. So out of 10 people in a decade, 90% are 9 of them are gone. And that one is the one that actually is moving forward. Okay, that says a lot. So why are these entertainers making a lot more money than us? Okay, why? Because they are very well known. How are they very well known? Well, even rappers, before you think rapper had money, they don't have money. Okay, you guys know the Island Boys, the Island Boys from Miami. Okay, I saw a video today. They're hey, how much you're making, guys? They're not even making $20,000 a month. They're not. I'm about to be honest. I'm about to pay them. Okay, so I can connect them with my boys so we can do their marketing because they have a lot of influence. They just don't know what to sell. Why? Because they are not business oriented. They blew up. They have a lot of following. They don't know what to sell, and they're struggling. Okay, if you go look at their Instagram, they're like, "Hey guys, I'm doing promotion, $500. I'll promote you on my story, and you get this many views. You probably get this many followers. Hit me up." Okay, it's two Cuban guys. Okay, they got very popular. With the island, with the hair and whatever. Why? But it's attention. So you guys that can run a company, Miguel, I know you don't think, I know you say that the holding business is very easy, but people don't really know. And if you teach people how you did it and what you're doing, okay, not only you can help a lot of people, but you're charging people $500, dude, they will make that money back, in less than a week.
Yeah.
You know how to structure it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
$500, you do a video, goes viral, you get 100 people buy it. Hey, that's 50K. In my opinion, I will tell them, hey, I'm doing it for such a low price to become 5% owner of your business just to teach you how to run it and scale it to $1 million like you did yours. You see what I'm saying? So there are ways that you can do. Okay, you are mentoring a lot of people on TikTok. They're learning it. Okay, but if you just give them that extra, hey, I will do classes. I will do classes once a week for you to scale to $1 million. As long as I'm 5% partnership, just offer it. Or you can just pay the $500 and try to figure it out on your own. Pay $500, give you the blueprint, or $500 if you want to come into my mentorship. Hey, we'll take that business to the next level, 5%. If you get 10 people and you bring them up to 5%, okay, and they each of them make $1 million, that's $500,000. You know what I'm saying? Just by you mentoring them. So the structure is something I have to think about. Don't try to just wing it. A lot of people are just winging it. Okay, a lot of people are just winging it. So it's something that once you have it set in stone, you just go with it. Carlo, he started his company with his wife. Okay, he's already making about 40,000, 30. How much are you making a month, Carlo?
36 to 40,000.
36 to 4,000 a month. Okay, and that's the business that he's gonna go all in on. Why is recurring? You can blow up. He's into health. I explained to him last time. I looked at his Insta and his wife Insta. They're portraying as family oriented, healthy. Health is number one, but they're very down to earth. Why? Because those people that portray themselves as, oh my God, I'm this big dude, most people say, oh my God, those people are unreachable. They want to be what? They want to be able to work with somebody that can mirror them.
Yeah.
Back, I'm talking about 4 years ago when I moved to Miami 4 years ago, I was wearing suit and tie, penthouse Bentley. Was I making money? Yes, I was making a lot of money, between $20,000 and $80,000 a week. Okay. Most people that I talked to, yeah, they wanted to come and hey, like they looked at me here, okay, but then they started buying from people that were more on their level. So now with a regular t-shirt, I just do a little video, whatever, I talk, put something online, whatever. I don't put a lot of emphasis in it. So everybody has an audience. And when you think on abundance, okay, it doesn't mean, oh my God, you're taking my client. No, nobody's taking your client. You know what I'm saying? Like, Nobody's taking anybody's client. People relate to you and they're going to come to you if God wants them to come to you. That's just how it is. That's why I give a lot of information. All these videos, I post them up. A lot of people don't see them. Okay, that video on how to raise money that Miguel and I talked about a couple of weeks ago. I think it was 2 weeks ago or last week. I don't remember. How to raise money. Okay, something that cost me not only money, cost me time, travel. Okay, how to raise money. It's a 5-minute video. Okay, that I paid on a structure which is the 10%. Okay, I call it the 10% because it's you raise money, you do a 10% APY for the investor. You pay them monthly. Okay, so let's say somebody gives you 100,000, you're gonna give them $10,000. Okay, $10,000 within that year. That means about $883 a month. Okay, whenever you refi, once you're done with the property, if you're flipping it or if you're selling it, whatever, you give them back their 10 grand, their 100 grand. They already made, if it was 6 months or if it was, let's say, 12 months, they already made an extra 10 grand. And then if you keep them as 10% equity owner of the property, they don't pay taxes on that 100 grand or 110 grand. Why? Because it's considered borrowed money. And then they also keep 10% perpetuity on whatever the monthly is. If it's a monthly and you're making $500 profit, they're getting an extra $50 a month. So they're completely out of the deal. They have 10% equity ownership. So whenever you do an exit 5-7 years from there, they're gonna make another check. They already made money on it. So whenever you just operate on giving, you own the investor. For me to learn that, I paid a lot of money. Okay, I have a video that literally explains that. It's the least watched video in my YouTube channel. Obviously, I'm not gonna go and fucking try to force it into people. Hey, you want to learn? You'll find it. It's on freaking YouTube. It literally says how I raise money, how to raise money for real estate. So little things like that, and that's my whole thing. With this whole mentorship, for you guys not only to win, okay, but also learn that hey, if you just help people out, eventually it's gonna come to you. Whether it's now, whether it's later, whether it's a month from now, 5 years from now, 10 years, it will come to you whenever God sees it fit to come to you guys. And Miguel can attest to this. I have a lot of chances to make money the illegal way down in Florida. Okay, just by driving from Tampa to Miami, which I literally done, once every 2-3 weeks. Okay, I will be able to make $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. Okay, it's easy to make money. Obviously, that's if I want to choose the path of the easy way. It's hard to become an entrepreneur. It's hard to do the right thing. It is hard. Okay, everything else is easy. People say, "Oh, Arturo, you have it easy because you got money, yada yada." No, dude. If anything, quote unquote, is harder. Why? Because I have more distractions. I literally have more distractions. I don't have to wake up in the morning to go to the gym. I can sleep in all day. I don't have to stay home tonight or have a girlfriend. I choose to. Why? I can go out and date, one girl every 2-3 days with no commitment, no nothing. So that's why it's my belief. Many people don't have what they believe they should have because they will get lost. Okay, you give somebody, put it this way, if Osvaldo, if you're making $1 million a week now, profit, okay, will you try to keep on learning to grow? 9 out of 10, no. If you had to think about it, most likely no.
I would say I would try to get somebody to help me multiply that honestly, because I'd be afraid of losing it. Because I feel like you could do a lot with $1 million that I haven't touched or had freely.
Right. But that will happen at the beginning. But you get $1 million on Friday. Next Friday, another mill. Next Friday, another mill. Next Friday, another mill. You hit your comfortable spot.
Honestly, I would get comfortable. I
Yeah,
wouldn't even
everybody
lie
gets
to you.
comfortable. It's not
Yeah.
only you, myself included. Okay, that's why, dude, every month I go to zero. Every month. Okay, I literally spend all my money. I cannot have money in my bank account. I feel uncomfortable. If I have 50 or 60 in my bank account, I feel uncomfortable. Okay, what do I do? Hey, I've been giving money to my dad for him to build his house, sending money to my mom for, oh, I need this. Okay, here, money, pay my credit cards, boom, put into another truck. Literally, I go to negative every month. And I've been doing this for many years. Okay. And I started doing this. Because literal me tocó. Okay. Me tocó. Back when I was in Miami, I was like negative 90 grand. Okay. I was negative 90 grand. I still had my penthouse to pay, my car, the lifestyle. And I was like negative 90. And I'm like, damn, what am I going to do? I remember I went out, gave some money to a home, they gave me like $100. And then my attitude changed. I went on the computer, I talked to a few clients, okay, and I turned it around. Okay. I turned it around and I was like, I don't want to be comfortable again. Okay. And when people say, hey, what are you working for? What keeps you alive? To be honest, is because I have to. I have to. Why? Because, yeah, even though I do know how to make money online, whenever you're in negative, you perform with urgency. You don't live, you don't say, like, for me, like, hey, I gotta go to the gym at this time in order for me to come back home at this time and eat at this time. So let me get on this call. So let me do this, let me do that. Okay. And now, to be honest, I can be negative, okay, and I'm comfortable being negative, which is really, really weird. It's very weird. No, it's true. Because I'm like, yeah, I'll get home in a little bit. I got a couple of clients that I got to talk to, and, that's 10, 20, 30K, whatever it is. So it is tough. It is tough, or at least me, I try to push myself. Okay. It's just something internal, and I want you guys to do the same thing. Everything you're learning, if you're sharing it, you give people value, somehow it's gonna come back to you. I don't know if you guys know, but Miguel, I'm not sure if he still is, but he became a priest. I guess we can call it a priest. Is that right, Miguel?
No, I was a pastor. Pastor, priest can't get married.
Oh, okay, okay. So
I'm not about that life, bro.
okay. So he became a pastor. Well, guess what? I knew Miguel before he wasn't a pastor. Okay. I knew Miguel. We went to high school together. Okay. I think he transferred to my high school for the last 2 years of high school, I can remember. And, obviously I see him grow in a lot of ways. Now he's making money. Back then we kind of didn't. Actually, because of Miguel, I got the job as a server. Okay. He's like, hey, I know my friend Danny. His mom works at a Carmelitas. And I was like, hey, man, I need a job. I need to get a job. And it was through Miguel that I met Danny, and then I was able to actually get a job in Carmelitas, in a Mexican restaurant down in Florida. So I mean, I know Miguel for a very long time. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is your structure, okay, and just keep the same thing. Keep the same thing. You can have different offers, but try to just follow a structure. Okay. And I think that's what most people fail at. Whenever you talk to a client, through Zoom, you should have, what I used to do is I used to have my script on my phone. I'll put my phone right here in front of my computer, and I will just read it. Hey, okay, I have some questions before we move on. Then I don't need my phone anymore because I already know what to ask. And then it's not even what to ask, but it's like me, I always been interested in people. So I ask, hey, where are you from? What do you do? Oh, you're from New York. Oh, I was in New York last year. That's just my personality. Okay. I'm always I like to talk. I like to, I don't know, I like to get to know people. You know, I want to leave you guys with a phrase which I read, I heard from Ty Lopez yesterday. Okay. It says, whenever you're in a room, it's better to become interested than interesting. Okay. You will lose a deal if you are interesting. Okay, you will miss deals and you will miss people if you are interesting. Okay, if you're interested, is where the network happens. Okay, so for example, if you guys come to me with your business, hey, I got this business, and I'm interested in you, is better than me being at somewhere and just talk about myself. Oh, I got this business and I make fucking 35K passive a month on this business and I travel to this and I just glamorous. I'm gonna miss out on opportunity of, hey, maybe Flora and I can do work on a deal that's gonna make me an extra $500,000. Or maybe Carlo and I can help him out on something that, hey, we can work on a future deal. So when I heard Tai Lopez say that on a podcast, okay, it's better to be interested than interesting because you will lose, and obviously that comes with ego. You have to put your ego down. Anyways, do you have any questions on any of these?
I don't have a question. I
Yes,
did
sure.
want to share something with you, but I'll wait to see if anybody else has questions.
Carlos, Miguel?
I was looking at your YouTube. I'm looking for the video. I know you mentioned it to me last time we spoke about how to get funding or how to get
All right,
consistent
fine.
lenders or investors or whatever.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it on my notes so I can have Christine send it to you tomorrow, okay? Because I uploaded it like 2.5 years ago. Um, Carlos, Flor, Valdo,
I'm good.
questions, suggestions?
Not a question. I did want to mention something that you touched on earlier about doing business properly or doing things with good intentions because it'll reward you. Arturo's absolutely right. He taught me something really important early on last year in 2024. And it was the value of integrity and knowing that whatever it is that you're doing, if you do it from a good place, because he was telling us that there's plenty of scammers and people who are doing shady deals or shady forms of getting money. But at the end of the day, when they go home and they have to face themselves, they're empty and they still have that hole within themselves. Um, so I carried that along with all of the businesses, all the transactions that I've done, all the interactions that I've held, just making sure that my integrity is at the forefront of everything. And that's resulted in amazing opportunities just coming my way. Um, just for being who I am and making sure that I'm taking actions that align with my values. With that being said, Arturo actually told me recently about one of my clients and how because of their work ethic and the culture there that they're not anybody that I can actually help. And he was right. So we are going to be closing that client next month. And turns out they just fired the executive director. And because of that, they're trying to get rid of the entire board because the community and it's a membership driven organization. They want to get rid of the entire board. And just for me being at that meeting and voicing my opinions and having the integrity and the courage to be able to speak against everybody. And mind you, I was the youngest one in that room. I'm only 25. And so they actually are trying to vote or nominate me to be the chairman of the board, which is crazy. And so that just goes to show, oh, and just from that one interaction, like I got the head of a newspaper who wants to feature me in an article for free. We have different national organizations that want me to be a member and then also do grant writing for them without me even telling them a lot about myself. They were just impressed with the way that I spoke and carried myself in a really tense situation. But I did just want to encourage you guys that the integrity and upholding your values will get you so much farther and open up so many more opportunities than anything else. And like Arturo was saying, there's so many ways to be able to make easy money, but being able to make money where you know that you're actually helping other people and where you're not compromising yourself in any way, shape, or form. Like at the end of the day, being able to go home, look yourself in the mirror and just be like, I respect myself, like I appreciate myself, like I'm 10 toes down, and so I just wanted to share that with you guys because that was such a pivotal thing that I learned from Arturo. That it doesn't matter how much the money is on the table, if it makes you have to compromise any part of yourself, of your values or your beliefs, it's not worth it. And if you keep walking in that direction, you'll eventually be able to sit at the tables and get the deals and the opportunities that actually align with who you are. So thank you.
Oh, that's really awesome. That's amazing.
I appreciate it.
Because of what you mentioned, I might need to talk to Arturo later about our situation. I wanna have the best, I would say, the best practice. I wanna be a man of integrity. I'm always been a man of integrity, so um it's great to hear that. No, I'm definitely in the right group. This amazing group. I love everybody here.
We do too.
Yeah, we definitely do.
Guys, so next week, okay, like I said, I'm gonna try it first. I figured out how to increase your now banks are pulling the Experian business credit report. Okay, so before it used to be done in Brasco, which that's easy. I have it on the program. Okay, now they're looking at Experian business credit report. It does cost money. It costs like 300, $200, $197, I think I paid for a membership for a year. But there's another company that can go ahead and actually, well, supposedly that's what I read on it today. They can go ahead and actually put in things that you have done on the company and verify it for you, and it does reflect on your business experience. Okay, so if you guys can do that, I mean, everybody here has a business, an LLC. If you guys can do that, then you guys can go ahead and get some funds for flips or whatever. Okay, so
Is
that's
it is like it is like NAV, like nav.com?
no. It's NAV. You can see your credit score through NAV. Okay, but it's a
Oh
membership.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a membership program where these two companies are allowed to report on your Experian business credit. So
Wow, that's huge. Yeah.
yeah, I know. So I'm gonna try it first, dude, because I pay a lot of money for that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like I have paid 50 grand, so let's see. Let's see. So next week is gonna be pretty good. Anyways, any suggestions, concerns, tips?
Arturo, can I set up a meeting with you sometime soon? Because I would really like to be able to review my deal for my school with you, just to be able to get your input.
Fine, just send me a text. We'll get on a call
I appreciate it.
for sure. All right, guys. So if this is it, I'll talk to you guys next week.
Peace. Thanks, bro.
Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate you
Take it
guys.
easy,
Be safe.
guys.
Take care, guys.